Today I am meeting Lois Hirshberg at the Falmouth Art Center. Lois is a ceramic artist who lives on Cape Cod, and she makes mostly slab-built pieces which she Saggar fires, raku fires, or horsehair fires. In this video, Lois will demonstrate how to make a geometric form using slab building. She will demonstrate how to apply terra sigillata and how to pack your Saggar.
Okay, hi Falmouth High School art students, ceramic students. My name is Lois Hirshberg, and I'm here to show you some of the techniques I use to make these type of pieces, which are done in a Saggar. I do alternative firings like raku and Saggar, and a new one I do is Bavra. It's not a new technique, but it's a new technique to me, and horsehair raku. But today you're going to learn about Saggar. My pieces are made with slabs of clay that are leather hard. So yesterday I have a slab roller, and I rolled out these slabs and left them overnight covered so they would be just perfectly leather hard for today. I make my shapes, which you can see are very angular. I do not do round things or very often. I use templates most of the time, and I have just a whole load of different templates. As I make templates. So I can just choose whatever one I want to do for the day and make that piece. Today's piece is going to be similar to this one using this template. So this is going to be a vase like this, and it needs 5 sides. It needs 4 sides and bottom. So I don't have to measure this out again. I have it as a template. Put it down on the clay. I have my favorite fettling knife. It has my name on it even. And I just use the template. The template's made out of poster board. It can be made out of cardboard. Some people use black tar paper. I haven't yet been able to do that. Figure that one out. So here we go, making the front side. There's the front side. And this is how stiff it is. It's really stiff. And that's so it'll keep its shape and stay angular. Other side, front, back side. Okay. That's the second side. Okay. So what I don't know is how long the sides will be. I do usually about 3 inches thick. Bingo, 3 inches. And the height is going to be 10 1/4. So that's how I measure the side here. So 3 inches by 10 1/4. And I just do it with a L-shaped ruler. You can get these at any hardware stores. A lot of them come in T's. I like the L shapes, and you'll see in a millimeter wide do that. So 10 1/4 by 3. And I know this part is 10, and this down here is 3. Though my ruler has been used so much, you can barely see the numbers. See the numbers, but you can't see some of the increments. So a lot of times I guess. So then I go 3 here. This was 10 here, 10 1/4. 3 by 10 1/4. It's a little higher. Because it's clay, you can always make adjustments. This clay is probably a little too dry, but it'll work just fine. That's one side. Now I can take this and use this as the template. So I use this, and I'll just use this as my template. It's better to use all the pieces in the same consistency, but it's okay not to, if they're not too far off. Now, there's one more piece I need, the bottom. We know it's 3 inches deep, because that's how deep it is here. But how deep is this? It's 3 inches. So that means I need a square of 3 inches by 3 inches for the bottom. Gets a little technical after a while, but it's good for your math lessons too. Okay, this will give me the same consistency as most of the pieces. So I chose from the first bunch. So here, I'm just going to do a straight line here, cut away here, and then I'll look for the 3 on the outside, and I'll make a little dot on the inside, 3 on the outside, make a little dot here, and then I just flip that L ruler around and match them up. Easy peasy. There we go. I don't throw out any clay. I recycle it. I recycle it by wrapping them in wet paper, wet towels, like hand towels. And they're wet, so by tomorrow they'll be perfect consistency, a little drier, so then I will wedge them up again and use them again. But I don't like to throw any clay out, no waste. Okay, so here's my 5 pieces. Front, back, sides, and bottom. So now I have to put them together. This is my handy foot. I used to do it just on my own, but it's just a string, a metal string, cut out here. There's 2 different sizes. This is the 45-degree side. I don't use this, so I don't know what size that is.
I think that's 60 degrees.
Probably 60, yeah. So this is handy dandy. I used to just do it on my own. I'll do one with my own, just maybe a little hard to see because I'm on this side of the table. But I put the piece at the very edge of the table. I have my handy dandy fettling knife. I guess at a 45-degree angle. I put it on the board and I hold down the piece and I drag the knife across. So it works. It works just fine. And this is the bottom, so I need to do all 4 sides. Okay. But I found this tool. Yay. And this tool, all I have to do, and you can make these, I suppose. Looks easy enough. Is I just place it here. I have to think about the angle of the knife. I just drag it along, and it does a perfect 45-degree angle. You see that? So these, because I don't put anything on the top, are going to be 3-sided. Like that. So do that to all the pieces. So now I have, why you do a 45-degree angle is to make sure there's more surface to attach the piece to. Okay. It's like kind of cabinetry. It's what woodworkers would do. So that's how it would be. If we did it just, you could do it with a straight side, but this way it will hold together and stick better and get the firing in. The next thing we have to do, if you know when you glue something, 2 sides, sometimes you have to rough out those sides. So again, there's more surface. So this is a new tool I found out about this year. Sometimes I just use a fork or my fettling knife. But one of the students, adult students I have
them too.
has this. I love this tool. Love it, love it, love it. And it goes away so it doesn't injure you. And you just have to score. I go both ways. make sure that that surface is roughed up nicely. Okay, we're gonna put this thing together. Have some slip. It's made out of, this is stoneware, white stoneware, 510. So I make a slip, I just dry out some of the clay ahead of time and mix it up with some water. So it's good. I have a wooden tool. It's about this consistency. So this is basically the glue. And I do it on here. Okay, so I've covered that pretty well. I press it in where it's going, and I press it from the outside. I'm holding this piece in here because if I went like that, it's going to move. So I hold this piece in place, and I'm a little bit long on this end. But I press it in so there's no spaces. You get a nice tight fit. And then I have some wetter clay. This is the same 510. And I make a coil. And here, again, I brace it from behind and push in. So I'm pushing into the corner to make sure I'm getting the clay in there. Okay, then I smooth it. Again, bracing from the outside. Hold it together. So that's the first joint. Here it is. Something at the bottom. Press it in. See the inside. Smoothing it out. Yeah. I learned this technique in 1976. I hate to tell my age, but you can guess. At a place called Penland in North Carolina. I was taking a 3-week class down there, and one of the assistants saw that I was making boxes, and he said, "I'm going to teach you a technique." And he taught me that 45-degree angle and the slipping. And that's what I've used ever since. Now this is the hard part, because I have little hands, I'm a little person, and you have to get your hands in here and do the same thing I did before. So I have that, it's hard to see, but I have that coil and I'm pressing it all the way down the line. Now you may not be able to get your hand all the way in, that I can do. It's just, I'm lucky that way. But you can make a bigger piece, so your hand does fit in. Just smoothing out just a bit more. Smooth out that. I put a little on the top. Do more of that too, just to reinforce the top. With Saggar firing, it's not as important to make sure that the corners are done so well to hold together. With raku, as you might know or are gonna know, when you have the thermal shock when you're taking the pieces out of the kiln so quickly from the heat to the colder, you really have to work on those. those corners. But Saggar, you're not doing anything with thermal shock. The pieces are coming out cool, or a little warm. Okay, so that looks pretty good. What I see that needs a little adjustment is the top isn't lined up. Now you may want a piece that isn't lined up. You may cut it down here, or do the sides different heights. Being creative, but I kind of like it myself. So here we go. So trusty L-shaped, and just line it up. Just put it down like that. Same thing on this side. You can see I'm just using the edge of the ruler. But it looks much better on the top. Let's see. Now I'll add a little bit here to maybe close up that corner. You can see there's a little crack in there. Okay. Just close it up a little bit. So when you do Saggar firings, the clay remains porous, so it doesn't hold water. And people are always confused by that because they want something that holds flowers, especially, or disappointed with that. But I find it fine to put in dry flowers, or just decorative, like a piece like that. Just decorative. And I put holes in there because it doesn't hold water anyway. So sometimes I do round. I did bring I would have done that when it was down flat. But they still ask me, will it hold water? And now it's obvious. No, it won't hold water. So, it's still a little rough. A little sponge with dampened up. And this again is reinforcing the corners, but also making them stronger, holding them together, making it look a little bit better. Make sure my table is clear of any debris. Make sure that the sides are, all the sides are smooth. So, plastic rib, just kind of following this up. Take off any little bits and pieces of clay that may have stuck on there. This clay is such a nice clay to work with. I consider myself a minimalist, which means I don't do a lot with decorating, although I do some textured pieces. I like the simplicity of the shape. I like doing the Saggar because I really, as you'll see when we do more of that, I don't have much control of how it comes out. So I like that. I like the spontaneity of it. Spontaneity. Yeah. There we go. So one last thing I do is I sign my pieces. Have a knitting needle from my grandmother. She was crocheting and knitting me things all the time. So that's the one thing I saved from her. And I use it to sign my pots. I sign on the outside cut on the bottom. I consider this a piece of art, and artists sign their paintings on their paintings. So here it is, Hirshberg. So that's that.